Welcome to this episode of the Connecting Faith to Life podcast. I'm Trey Rhodes, a Connections pastor at Northwood Baptist Church here in North Charleston, South Carolina. In just a few moments, our lead pastor, Dr. Tommy Metter, will be joining the conversation as well. In our crazy and chaotic world, our hope is that these few minutes will help you stop and reflect on your relationship with Jesus as you learn to connect Christ-centered faith to your everyday life. And we are on episode 302. And thank you so much for following along as you've gone through lots and lots. I think if you listen to this completely, you would basically be here starting today till the Lord came back.
It's 14,000 hours of content.
Yeah, 14,000 hours of content, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And anyway, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you coming and being a part and getting the word out, always through your Life Connection group or some kind of social media thing. You know, I've gotten into the Instagram here recently because I'm trying to do training on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And but I've also found that it can be addictive.
I am not on the Instagram for that purpose.
Because, I mean, you just flip.
Not on it.
So
I know it's a big hit, and lots of people are on the Instagram. I have an account, but I never use it. I can't remember the last time I posted something or was on Instagram. So, yeah.
Well, anyway,
enjoy it.
I'm hoping that,
Sorry you're an addict.
I don't actually, I'm really not an addict. I do know people that restrict their viewing on Instagram because before they know it, they spend an hour on
Well, those
thing.
little short videos are they're super addictive. They're super addictive on Facebook and YouTube. I watch a few of those, like, it's 6 hours have gone by. So it's not. So
what I'm saying is, let people know, and they'll come join us instead of wasting their time on Instagram, I hope.
Well, I'm sure there's some good stuff on there.
Yes, sir.
Like cat videos. You watch the cat videos?
No, I watch the little baby videos where they're like some famous line in a movie, and they've made them into a baby. Have you seen those?
Yeah, you're going down the deep end of stuff there on the Instagram.
It just pops up. I don't know deep end.
With the algorithm, man. You apparently Instagram knows what you like.
So like little babies saying things like, "You can't handle the truth."
That's the power of AI, man. AI is making those things, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you guys for being a part, and we look forward to what we got for ourselves today.
Yeah. So give us a health update. How are you feeling?
I feel great.
You feel great.
Yeah, my voice doesn't relay that, unfortunately, but the prayers have been wonderful. Thank you, everyone, so much for what you have done, and I'm sleeping better, and just everything that was going wrong is coming back. I'm walking. I'm walking sometimes as many as 2,500, 3,000 steps a day.
That's a lot of steps.
Yeah, for me it is.
Yeah.
And in the old days, I don't think I walked more than that. So really, I'm still restricted as far as they won't let me ride a bike. So they don't want me to injure myself with the blood thinners that I'm on. And so also because of that, I'm also restricted in how far I can get away from Charleston.
Yeah.
So if something was to happen, they don't want me to have to go to another hospital and go through the whole process. And
that would be an ordeal.
Yeah. So anyway.
But all in all, you're doing great.
Yeah. But I mean, man, praise God.
Yeah.
Praise God where I am. So thankful. So I'm very thankful to be a part, being back involved in church and doing all the things I love to do.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. And hey, before we dive in, it's also first week of school. Kelly's come back to school.
Yeah,
she actually.
This is like her third week.
But when did the kids come back this week for her, or did they come back last week?
They came back last week.
Okay, so our boys went. Actually, today was our boys' first day of school.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Well,
we wish it was that late. Oh, this
I don't know.
Early school stuff is the pits.
I wouldn't be opposed to going to school year round. I think that'd be a great thing.
We do love her school. It's just it's early.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah. So got a 9th grader and a 6th grader. So we're crazy times, man.
Are you glad to get them back in school or no?
Yes and no. I mean, it's great having them home, and there's lots of things about summer that I love that are going to come to an end very soon. Like the long days. I like it staying light until 9 o'clock at night, and so when
I like looking out the window, saying, "Is it 8 yet?" And then you look out the window and it's after 8, and it's still daylight. I like that.
when it starts getting dark at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's just going to limit the things we're going to do, And so, there's some things about summer we'll miss. And, I'm looking forward to us getting back into our regular fall rhythms, because I know for a lot of us, this summer was kind of crazy. We were going in different directions. And so to have some normalcy back in life is going to be pretty good. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and I find, seriously, when you talk about normalcy, it's actually the things that I'm involved in, life connection groups and church attendance and everybody. Yeah. Getting back from all their vacations.
You're about to make
everything.
A segue, aren't you?
Well, I can.
I thought you were going somewhere that you were segueing us to today's conversation. As we're getting back in church and getting back into the groove of things, is a great time to start volunteering for ministry opportunities.
You took the words out of my mouth.
I did take the words out of your mouth. We're talking about volunteers today and just how important it is to volunteer. So if you're a part of the Northwood family, many of you already are volunteering in so many different ways.
And
if you're not part of the Northwood family, I hope you're in a church where you are serving faithfully and using the gifts that God's given you, that you're being a great volunteer. But at Northwood, it's really important. Well, it's important whatever church you go to volunteer. But you think about the way that we do church here and just how we're constantly sending people out from here to go to other churches, to our replants or to plant. We always need volunteers, because oftentimes when we send out people to a replant or a plant, we're sending some of our most faithful volunteers. And so we always need more volunteers to step up and serve, because we are sending out other volunteers. And so it's a great time of the year as we're starting the fall, and children's ministry is getting back in the swing of things, and student ministry and all the other stuff. It's a great time to start thinking about volunteering and what it looks like to volunteer. Now, every church is different. Every church is different in how they recruit volunteers, train volunteers, develop volunteers, use volunteers. So some of the things we're going to talk about are across the board, no matter what church you're in, are going to be helpful for you. But if you're a part of the Northwood family, hopefully this will be really helpful for you as you start thinking about volunteering in the life of our church. Now, if you are already volunteering in some way, praise God, thank you for that. We're very grateful for the way that you serve our church. Amen. We need more. We always need more volunteers to help us to carry out the work of ministry well.
I find that sending out like what we do, sending out to our other churches, it's not a zero-sum balance. In other words, we lost 14 volunteers. No, we did not. People saw people moving where God wanted to in obedience and said, hey, you know what? I probably need to be obeying the Lord. Yeah. Now, we got to recruit them. We got to go out and say, hey, this is what you need to be doing. But I find that sending people out brings more, not less.
That's right. And
it's a big, so don't feel sorry for us or anything.
No, don't feel sorry for us.
This is what we want, man. We want it. This is exactly what we want.
And we try to intentionally not use the phrase losing people.
Oh yeah.
We don't lose people. We send people. So Amen. We don't when we
which is a biblical model.
Yeah, when we have people go to another church, we don't feel like we lost volunteers. We sent volunteers. And so we're trusting God to raise up new volunteers. So it's not, like you said, Pops, it's not a net loss kind of thing. We send people trusting God to raise up additional leaders and volunteers to kind of fill some of those gaps that might be left behind after we send people. But because of the way we send people, we just always need to have a deep bench of volunteers ready to go.
The day that we sent out East Bay and prayed for them, we had almost, I think we sent out, 25, 30?
Something like that, yeah.
We had almost 25, 30 as guests that Sunday.
Yeah. That's so, the way it works.
Yeah. It's just a miracle.
We always have new people walking through the door. So I want to talk about 7 ways that you can be a great volunteer in your local church, whether that's at Northwood, one of our Northwood churches, or another church. 7 ways you can be a great volunteer in your local church.
All right, let's talk about them. The first way you can be a great volunteer is give your church much grace.
Yeah, let me tell you why I say that. Yeah. Because the fact of the matter is there aren't very many churches that have it figured out as to how to best recruit, train, and keep volunteers. We're all figuring it out. So I went
even the best and the biggest ones.
That's right. I went to seminary for a long time, 10 years. Did a master's degree. Actually, I did 2 master's degrees and a PhD degree. I was in seminary for a long time, and I do not remember in my 10 years of being in seminary, I don't remember having a class on how to run a volunteer organization.
I didn't either.
So when I came into the church, I didn't know, and I still, I'm trying to figure out what does it look like to lead a largely volunteer organization. Obviously, we have paid staff members and paid pastors, but the vast majority of the people that are serving in the ministry of our church are volunteers.
That's right.
And I just didn't take that class on how to lead volunteers well. And wherever you go to church, your pastor didn't either. He didn't have that class. Seminary taught us lots of great things, but how to lead volunteers was probably not something that we had a couple classes on to help us figure it out. And so just know that when you come to a church like Northwood, we're trying our best to provide resources, to train, to equip, to help you. And I think we do a decent job. But there are always ways that we as a church can improve in the way that we use our volunteers. And we are very well aware of that. And so you might come and have an experience and say, you know what, I served and this didn't go well, or they didn't do this for me, or I thought I was going to have this and I didn't, and I get it. I get it. It's difficult. Volunteering is a sacrifice, and I appreciate you sacrificing your time. And we're doing all that we can as a church to make sure that you have all the resources you need. But I'm just telling you, after doing this for 20-something years, somewhere along the way, as we put volunteers in different ministry positions, we as a church are going to drop the ball somewhere. It's just bound to happen.
And we know that. Yeah. We understand that. And a matter of fact, how long? We've been going through a book right now on volunteers.
And our staff team.
And we've been talking about
this. Our staff team has been spending the last couple of months kind of thinking through.
This is a big deal.
Volunteer processes. Yeah. How do we help our volunteers to feel valued and to be equipped to do ministry well? We really have been thinking about the best ways to use our volunteers, because we want people who volunteer in our church to have the absolute best experience possible. Amen. And so we want to do that well as a church. But again, just if you would help us by giving us much grace, if you're serving in children's ministry and the goldfish aren't there that week, I'm sorry. We'll do our best to get them there next week, right? It happens, or whatever the case may be. You didn't have this thing you thought you needed, or what? I get it. We're trying, we're developing, we're growing, we're figuring it out, and when those things happen, you can help us by graciously helping us to see some ways that we can make the volunteer experience more fulfilling for you. What way we can really help. So instead of being overly critical, help us to see how we can improve together. Amen. Right. So, but I'm gonna give you much grace. You give me much grace. Life always works better when we give each other a lot of grace.
And that is true. And that leads us to the second way to be a great volunteer, and that is show up with a servant's attitude.
Yeah, you are coming to serve. Volunteer ministry is service. And so, when you think about having a servant's attitude is simply putting the needs of others above your own. Mm-hmm. And that's hard for all of us. All of us have a tendency to be self-centered and self-seeking. All of us have a tendency to want to be ministered to rather than want to minister to. Right?
Right.
And so just making sure you have a heart check when you show up on Sunday morning and taking time to pray about it. As you're getting up in the morning, having your time with the Lord, ask God to help you on that Sunday or that Wednesday or whenever it is you're volunteering. Mm-hmm. God, as I go into ministry today, because it's ministry, it's a real ministry. As I go into ministry today, help me to see people as you see them. Help me to serve with a heart that's ready to give of myself for the glory of Jesus Christ. Just come, not with an attitude of how can I be served, but with an attitude of how can I best serve the people that God is allowing me to minister to today. So showing up with a servant's attitude really, really is important when you think about being a great volunteer.
In guest services, I made a commitment when I first started this, what to call our volunteers. And I thought of all kinds of things. I said, you know what? We need to be guest servants.
Guest servants, that's great.
And I've called them that ever since, because there is no greater than Jesus. God had one son and made him a servant. And, that's the greatest thing we can do to serve others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Third way, honor your commitment.
Yeah, if you say you're going to serve. Now, here's the deal. This is a challenge in every single church I've ever been a part of. And listen, I've done it too. We're the kind of people that sometimes struggle with keeping the commitments that we make.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage you in a couple of ways. One, don't overcommit yourself.
Yeah, big one.
That's really huge. Because I think a lot of us have really good intentions. We see all the opportunities before us, and we want to do it all. And I understand. I'm that kind of person. I see the opportunities. I want to do it all.
Jump in.
But I can't. I'm one person. I'm limited in time. Not only am I limited in time, I'm limited in ability. There's just some things that I'm not going to be good at. I'm not gifted in those areas, so I shouldn't jump in and serve in those areas, right? So just understand that about yourself. You're limited. And also just understand, right, there really is the problem sometimes of overcommitment. Mm-hmm. And so I would much rather you find one or two things that you can serve really well in rather than try and do 15 things.
Yeah.
If you have that gifting towards guest services or children's ministry or whatever the case may be, do that really, really well. I think about my wife, she's gifted in a lot of different areas, but in our church, she has primarily served in children's ministry.
That's right.
She does that on Sunday mornings, and she does that on Wednesday nights, and she does a great job of that. So I think she's done a really good job over the years as a part of this faith family, as not overcommitting. She's done discipleship groups, and she does them all those things well. But she's kind of found her place in children's ministry within our church. That doesn't mean it's not going to change sometimes. She may do something else later on, but she's given herself to that, and she does that really, really well. And so like finding that place where you really are adding value to the ministry, where you're using your gifts and really being a blessing is really important. So you don't have to do everything.
And just because you're asked doesn't mean you have to say yes.
That's right.
Because when you say yes, you have to subtract something.
That's right.
Unless you're just laying on the couch all day, which I don't know many people that way.
So here's what happens. Sometimes we can overcommit, and I think we've all been guilty of that, myself included.
Definitely.
And sometimes we can make that commitment and not fulfill that commitment. And I get it. Sometimes life happens. You get sick.
Yeah.
Someone in your family dies, the unexpected takes place. I get it. And that prohibits you from being able to fulfill that commitment for a time. But it's not uncommon to have someone volunteer and say, hey, I'll be there, and then they never show up.
Yeah,
and you never know any reason why they didn't show up.
Yeah.
And so I would just say, if you are volunteering in ministry, help your church by staying in good communication with those who are overseeing that ministry. Whether it is for someone like you, Trey, you need people to call you. Hey, I'm not going to be here next week, so I know it's on the schedule, but I can't because of whatever reason.
Right.
And don't wait till Sunday morning to do that, because that puts us all in a tailspin.
Yeah,
now, sometimes that stuff's unavoidable. Sometimes you wake up on Sunday morning and you're deathly ill. I understand that. But sometimes people wake up on a Sunday morning and just don't feel like going to church.
Yeah, just bummed today.
And then they call us 10 minutes before and say, hey, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be there, or don't let us know at all. And then we're trying to, figure out who to put where and all those kinds of things. And so I'm just saying, this is good for all of us, myself included. When you make a commitment, follow through with that commitment to the best of your ability. And here at Northwood, what we want to try to do is not sign you up for ministry for life. Now, let me explain what I mean by that.
Yeah, go ahead.
We want you to minister for life. We want you to minister all the days of your life that God has given you. But just because you serve in children's ministry this year doesn't mean we're going to force you to do it next year, right? We want you to be open to what the Spirit of God is doing in your life. And you might go and serve in children's ministry a year or two and feel like, you know what? I really feel compelled to serve in this ministry next year.
Right.
That's fine. Praise the Lord. Just let us know, right?
Yeah.
We'll probably, I know with Anna, she's going to ask you, do you want to continue to serve? And you're going to have the opportunity to say, no, I think a year is enough for me, or whatever the case may be. We're not trying to tie you into any particular ministry area for the rest of your life. We want you to be led by the Spirit to do those things that you feel like the Spirit is leading you to do. But whatever that is, honor that commitment. So look at your schedule. Are you going to be available for those weeks we're asking you to be committed? Are you going to be in town? I mean, if you're not, it might not be the time for you to serve in that particular ministry. Find that ministry where you can really give of yourself for the time that we need you to give of yourself in that specific ministry.
Exactly.
So honoring that commitment is a really big deal.
All right, this is number 4, and that is take advantage of training opportunities.
Okay, here's the deal. We can always learn something new.
Oh, amen.
That's
the
fact of the matter.
Yes.
And so I think what happens in ministry sometimes, we have so many people in our churches that are faithful and serve for years, year after year, Sunday after Sunday, and over the years, kind of develop their way of doing that particular ministry, leading that life connection group, or whatever the case may be, and become closed to, teaching or help in a way that they can do it better. Kind of get, and I can be that way. I've been preaching for a long time. I kind of have my system down, right? And I can kind of say, I don't need to go to another preaching seminar. I don't need to read another preaching book. I've got it figured out. When the truth is, I need to continue to learn how to be a better communicator. Till the day that I die.
Yes.
And so, listen, you always have something to learn. You might know a lot. You might be, that seasoned life connection group leader who has been leading for 50 years, and you do it well, and you may know a lot, but that does not mean that there's still not something that you can learn. And so when training opportunities come up, take advantage of them.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at what you would learn. And we're trying to do a better job of that here, of providing more opportunities and delivering those opportunities in different ways, whether it's via the internet or in person or whatever the case may be. But when those training opportunities come up, take advantage of them. I think one of the things that, for us as a team that kind of and I don't want to be too hard, but what kind of discourages us is when we offer, an event, right? Come to this, luncheon. We're going to feed you, and then we're going to spend about an hour talking about best practices for this.
Yeah.
We might have a handful of people show up
right.
when we've invited all of our, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. Everybody's got a busy schedule. So we try not to schedule those too often.
Right.
But when we do schedule them, take advantage of those things. Those things are good. It's an opportunity to get together and share best practices. It's an opportunity to learn from each other. But it's also an opportunity for us to give you some things that we think are very pertinent for our church and how we want to fulfill the mission of God in this place. So those training opportunities really are valuable for you. And so when they come up, take advantage of them.
And what we say, when you're trained, a lot of times it's going to be one or two things that you come away with.
That's right.
But at least come away with those one or two things.
You'll come away with something. You might not come away, and that's worth it.
Yeah,
if you go to an hour training
and
you only walk away with one thing, but that one thing is something you can implement and use that will make your ministry better, that's worth it. So you might not walk away with 15 things, but we're not trying to give you 15 things.
We don't want you to
in the
go
conversation you hear something that you can implement
exactly
the next week.
All right. So, this is number 5 of the 7 ways to be a great volunteer, and that is see the bigger picture.
Yeah, that's really important. The bigger picture is always the gospel of Jesus Christ,
that's right.
His kingdom, and seeing His kingdom advance. So I know that in the nitty-gritty that it may not seem like the ministry that you're doing matters much. So you think about, we just had our month or so ago, our big fireworks celebration.
Right.
I spent, along with some other volunteers, 2 hours in the kitchen wrapping hot dogs.
Yep, I know.
That doesn't seem like much. That seems kind of like just grunt work.
Yeah.
But that grunt work in the big scheme of things is kind of important because of that, right? Volunteers wrapping hot dogs, people who came got to have free food and a really great experience at our church. And who knows how God might use that. So listen, I don't want you to spend 50 years of ministry just wrapping hot dogs. I think there's other things that God wants for you in His kingdom. But I am saying that everything that we do in the kingdom of God matters, right? So even wrapping hot dogs at our 4th of July event, that enabled something, that enabled someone to receive a free hot dog, helped them have a better experience on our campus. So one day, right, when something happens in their lives and they're thinking, man, there's a church down the road. They gave me a free hot dog and showed me some fireworks. I'm going to go check that place out. That hot dog you might have wrapped might have gone into the hands of a person who someday will come to this church or hear the gospel and give their lives to Christ. And so, don't think that those little ministry tasks in the big scheme of things aren't connected to the work that God is doing through the life of His church. And so, listen, always look at the bigger picture. When you see the bigger picture, it helps you to serve with joy because that hot dog I'm wrapping, God might use it in some way, Well,
that's right. That small act, can have big impact, We don't know.
Yeah.
All right, number 6, care for people, not just tasks.
Yeah, now that kind of dovetails with what we just talked about. Oftentimes ministry is a lot of tasks.
It is.
It's there's some administration. There's there's setting things up. There's
picking
tearing things down.
There's
picking things up.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of tasks that have to be done. And sometimes we can get so focused on the task that we forget the real reason why we're doing ministry to begin with. It's not to accomplish tasks. It's to reach people with the gospel. And
That's right.
So listen, when you come, I get it. Let's get the task done. But when we're ministering, let's make sure that we're also focusing on the people we're actually ministering to. Let's care for the people that God has entrusted us with. Let's care for those children. Let's care for those teenagers. Let's care for those adults. Let's care for people because at the end of the day, that's what ministry is all about. It's about the people, not so much about the task that we think we have to get done in order to do the ministry. Now, every task has a place. I understand that, but it's a means to an ends, and the ends is we really want to reach people with the gospel. That's why we're asking you to volunteer to help us to accomplish the mission of God in our local church.
I know this is a trite phrase and it's been used over and over again, but people don't care how much you know until you show them how much you care.
That's right.
And so that caring attitude, and we find that at guest services a lot. We'll get the information back from people. They'll say, hey, this meant a lot to me. And for us to spend time with them, do simple things, get them a cup of coffee, just simple things to get them to where they need to be and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
They realize in those little simple acts that we care for them.
Yeah.
And we're glad they're with us on Sunday mornings.
That's right.
All right, and number 7, and we'll finish up with this, and that is be flexible.
Oh my goodness. If you're gonna do ministry, you've got to be flexible.
Yes.
Because things can change.
Brother, they do
on
change.
On a dime.
They do. just about every week.
Right, just about every day.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm thinking Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah, from Sunday to Sunday. Like my day to day has gotten a little bit different than normal days, or what the case may be. So that's just ministry, though. Things happen, life happens. You can be volunteering, and then all of a sudden something happens in the life of a person, and all of a sudden you have to shift the way you were thinking or doing. And so, like, just be flexible, and especially when you think about ministering in a local church, and you come in on Sunday morning, and a leader may ask you to do something different than what you were planning on doing. Sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah,
because the need has changed, or whatever the case may be. And
more people showed up.
More people showed up than you expected, and you just got to roll with it, right? And so, the church is not like other organizations, like, because we're dealing with people, and we're dealing with people in their greatest moments of joy and victory, and also people in their greatest moments of sorrow and hurt. And so, just being flexible to be able to meet the needs of people well is really important. So come with a flexible heart.
Yeah, I tend to be a little too flexible.
Well,
people grab me in the lobby, and I'm trying to do something for somebody else, and they grab me, and it's just difficult to get back to who I was going back to. But the truth is that person, many times, it grabs me secondarily as a much greater need than, hey, I need a pencil, or a pen or whatever.
That's right.
Somebody's really hurting or needs prayer or whatever. So the impact, again, is great when we just allow that opportunity to just shift when we need to, Yeah. So how to be a great volunteer. So as we look at these things and we decide, hey, what are we going to do? Where do we start? What is the opportunities? Where do we go next, I guess is what my question is. Where do we go next? Okay, I want to be a great volunteer. I really sense the Lord working in me right now. So how do I get started in doing this?
They talk to you.
Okay.
Right. Well, I mean, so for a lot of us, that is the next step. For a lot of us, that's the next step. It's seeing somebody like Pastor Trey and saying, hey, I'm ready to get involved in ministry. Can you help me to know where I might fit best? Any of our pastors would love to have that conversation with you to help you to kind of determine where might be a great place of service for you. And so reach out to us and let us help you think through. Or maybe you've struggled in a ministry. You're thinking, hey, I feel like a new season is here and I want to start ministering in this way. Is there an opportunity for me to, minister over here? Let's talk about that. And let's put you in a place where your gifts and talents are being used for the glory of God and you really feel effective in ministry.
Yeah, I want to put a plug in for guest services. We feel like we're onboarding. And so what we do is we want you to come, be a part of guest services, learn everybody, get to know everybody. And then after a few months of that, you might want to move on to children's ministry.
That's right.
Or student ministry, or serve on the worship tech team, whatever. There's great opportunities to get started. And you can get started in guest services this Sunday.
That's right. Let's just get started.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Pastor. Well, this has been really good. Thank you so much for spending some time with us on what it means to be a great volunteer. And we're just going to be praying God just brings a host of people in that they might serve the Lord well.
Yeah.
And as we think about those things, why don't you get us ready for next week?
Yeah, well, I do hope today has been helpful for you and an encouragement. And if it has been, I would love for you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can have new content delivered to your device every single week. Leave us a 5-star review. That always helps us to get word out about our podcast. And as always, we hope today's episode has helped you connect faith to life.